Deciding whether an egg-style Kamado grill is right for you is actually hard enough. But deciding which brand and model is right for you, it makes it even harder. If you've ever wondered if you should buy an egg-shaped grill, this video should give you a definitive answer to that question. I'm David Gafford, and I've tested hundreds of outdoor cooking products over the last few years. And in this video, we're gonna be putting 7 different brands of Kamado grills through the Barbecue Lab series of tests to help you decide if A, a Kamado style grill is right for you, and B, which brand fits your lifestyle and budget. We fire up each of these grills in just a few minutes, but before we do, we've got to show you which grills we're working with. Let's meet the contenders. Today we have the Big Green Egg Large. We have the Grilla Grills Kong on an all-terrain cart. We have the Everdure 4K Kamado. We have the Blaze all aluminum Kamado. The New Age Large Kamado. The Saffire Platinum Large Kamado. And the Primo XL Kamado to round out our testing. Next, we're gonna light these grills up and start cooking, but there's one pretty obvious brand that's missing here, and that's a red grill. It's called the Kamado Joe. Unfortunately, we experienced some delays in shipping and delivery, and it's just unfortunate that we can't have that be a part of this video, but we do have a Classic 3 on the way for us to run comparisons with here at the Barbecue Lab. So I would love it if you would let us know what of these grills that we have here you'd like to see a direct head-to-head comparison with the Kamado Joe Classic 3. Is there one of these grills that you're wondering between those two? Let us know down in the comments below, and you can help shape the content that we make here at the Barbecue Lab. So if you're interested in seeing the Kamado Joe as a part of the comparisons, let us know down below. For this video, we're going to be using the Rocketfire Torch to light our charcoal. If you haven't seen it, this is a really cool propane or MAP gas torch that has a diverter on the end to light your charcoal 3 different directions from the nozzle. It's designed to light your charcoal more quickly. You just bury the stainless steel tip down in your charcoal, press the button, and it looks a little something like this. We'd like to thank Porter Road for supplying all the meat that we used in this video. We're about to give the exact same cuts of meat to each Kamado to grill directly, cook hot and fast and indirect, and smoke low and slow. Now, Porter Road has done their best to ensure that all of this meat is all hormone and antibiotic free and pasture raised, so we know the quality of this meat is top notch. Now, links to each of the meats that we're using can be found in the description below, so be sure to check that out. Now it's up to each grill to see what they can do when it comes to cooking this delicious meat. We're starting out our Kamado cooking tests with a high heat direct grilling comparison. We've got these beautiful New York strip steaks from Porter Road, and we're seasoning them with this Dust Bowl seasoning blend from Bartlow's Barbecue. We're using the small probes from our Chef's Temp Pro Temp Plus to keep an eye on the internal temperature for us, and we'll pull them when they hit 125 degrees. We went with a 90-second method of cooking these steaks, and if you're interested in learning more about that, you can check out our video up here in the card or linked down in the description below. After 90 seconds, a rotation, another 90 seconds, and a flip, this is what the sear looked like on the Big Green Egg, Blaze, Everdure, and the Kong. And this is what the sear looked like on the New Age, Primo, and the Saffire. The Blaze and the New Age put on the best crosshatch marks for me with their massively thick grates, and the Primo and the Saffire both put a great crust on the steaks since their grates are a bit closer to the fire, helping them get that sear all over. All in all, the family really enjoyed the products of this round of tests, and we were very happy with the quality and flavor of these New York strips from Porter Road. Hats off to the Pro Temp Plus for keeping an eye on the internal temperatures for us so we could enjoy a consistent medium rare on each steak. We've got 2 more cooking tests to show you, but before we do, if you're getting value from this video, make sure you hit that like button and consider subscribing if you like comparisons just like this, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. We've got some incredible content coming, and I know you're not going to want to miss it. For our next cooking test, we're testing each grill with a hot, fast, and indirect cook of chicken drumsticks from Porter Road. We've rubbed the chicken down with the sweet red dirt seasoning from Bartlow's Barbecue and are placing them on each grill running 425 degrees Fahrenheit with a deflector plate in place to diffuse the heat. After around 30 minutes, the drumsticks were reading between 175 to 180 degrees internally with the Chef's Temp Final Touch X10, and our drumsticks were officially done. This is what the chicken looked like on the Big Green Egg, Blaze, Everdure, and Kong. And this is what it looked like on the New Age, Primo, and the Saffire grills. Before we get to our last cook, we have to clean out each one of these grills to prep them to get ready for that, and here's how we do it. The Saffire Platinum is the easiest of the group to clean with the included ash basket. You just lift the basket of charcoal and give it a little shake, and all the ash falls into the removable pan below. The New Age, Everdure, 4K, and Blaze don't have the same shakeable charcoal basket, but they do have removable ash pans that help with cleanup. The Grilla Kong, Big Green Egg, and Primo XL all require ash to be removed through the bottom vent of the grill, which requires an ash tool. Grilla Grills and Primo have both included an ash scraping tool in the box with the purchase of the grill. A couple of weeks ago, we asked the question on our community tab here on YouTube whether you thought of a Kamado first as a smoker or first as a grill. And an overwhelming majority of you said that you saw it as a smoker first. Now, what's confusing is that so many of these grills don't include a deflector plate or a way to smoke on these grills right out of the box. For this last cooking test, we're going to test each of these grills with a low and slow smoked chuck roast. But first, we've got to light them up, so here we go. Now, while the grills are coming up to temperature and settling in to about 250 degrees Fahrenheit, we're getting the meat ready for the cook. We've got these beautiful chuck roasts from Porter Road, and we've seasoned them with a layer of Bartlow's Barbecue Dust Bowl, followed by a layer of sweet red dirt. If you haven't followed Bartlow's Barbecue on YouTube yet, make sure you check a link down to his channel down below. We're inserting a Pro Temp Plus probe in each roast, and I'll be able to monitor the temperatures from my phone inside, which is a really good thing because it's raining today. So the fewer trips that I have to make outside, the better. Now, by the way, if you want to learn more about the Pro Temp Plus, you can check out our video review that we link down in the description below. We put the chuck roast on each Kamado with a water pan, or in the case of the Everdure, we use the included water cup. And after 5 hours of smoking, this is what the chuck roasts look like on the Big Green Egg, Blaze, Everdure, and the Kong. And this is what they look like on the New Age, the Primo, and the Saffire grills. Now, next we wrapped the roasts in foil and returned them to the grills until the Pro Temp Plus told us that they were done. And after about a 30-minute rest, we tore them open, and this is what a cross-section of the chuck roast looked like from the Big Green Egg, Blaze, Everdure, and Kong. And this is what it looked like from the New Age, the Primo, and the Saffire grills. Overall, the results were fairly inconclusive, to be honest. They all produce pretty much the exact same quality of food, which means that it's really going to come down to user experience in the end, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. None of the grills really produced a real smoke ring to speak of, in spite of the cherry wood chunks that we added throughout the cook. But the question is, can a smoke ring really be achieved using a Kamado grill? Those of you who have one, let us know down in the comments below. So now that we're done with all of the test cooks, I want to actually talk about some of our experience cooking on all of these grills. And one of the first things I want to cover is talking about temperature management. Now, if you look at these grills, you're going to look at them and say, okay, they are different sizes from 24 inch all the way down to 18 inches in size. And that matters in how you control your fire. So let's head over to the Big Green Egg and let me show you what I'm talking about. This Big Green Egg grill is an 18-inch grill from left to right. So the amount of charcoal you need to run this grill is very small in comparison with one right next to it with the Primo. This Primo grill needs a lot more charcoal to run because if you think about how big this firebox is, it's going to take a lot more charcoal to run this than it is the Egg. Now, this also has benefits in that you can put a whole lot more on this than you can a standard large size Egg. So that's just one of the trade-offs you need to think about is the size of the grill versus the amount of charcoal you're going to use. If you're thinking about cooking for a family of 2, this would be overkill. But if you're thinking about cooking for a family of 2 plus entertaining up to 10, 12, 14, 20 people, this would be no problem to be that main grill for your family. Now over here at the Everdure, I also want to talk about temperature management a little bit in that this slotted stainless steel pan at the bottom is what the heat comes through from the electronic ignition to be able to ignite the charcoal for this grill. And if you watch any of Everdure's instructional videos, they just put charcoal in the stainless steel pan. They don't put any charcoal on the outside. And so one of the things that I learned is if I put the same amount of charcoal in the Everdure that I do in the Big Green Egg, there's way too much charcoal in this grill and it will run hotter than I want it to run no matter how I have the vents and the exhaust set. So for this grill uses less charcoal and that's a great thing. If you put too much in this grill though, you will experience temperature problems like I had during some of our test cooks where it was just running hotter than I wanted it to run and I couldn't get it to go back down because I just simply had too much charcoal inside. So chalk that one up to user error. The Grilla Kong is the other one that's worth mentioning when you start talking about how much charcoal you need to run it. This is a 24-inch Kamado, and you have a ton of charcoal that needs to go in this grill in order to run it at the same temperatures as you would a smaller grill like those 18-inch models. This is one that you need to plan on utilizing more charcoal to run, and if that's part of your plan, great. If it's not part of your plan, even though this is the least expensive Kamado in our group, it will cost you more in charcoal over the long run because you're going to have to use more to get this heated to the same level of temperature that you would the smaller Kamados. There's 2 more things I want to cover when it comes to user experience with these grills. One is the height of cooking and the other is the weight of the lid. So let's go around and test each one and see how high the grate is on each one that you're interacting with, as well as the weight of the lid. All right, here at the New Age, we have a height of 37 inches is what you would be interacting with the grate. And we're getting a lid weight of just around 5 pounds to lift this lid. Here at the Everdure, we're interacting at a height of 32.5 inches with this top lip of the grill and a lid weight of about 9.2 pounds on the Everdure. The front lip on the Saffire is just over 36 inches, so that's the height that we're dealing with, and a lid weight of just around 5.6 pounds. For the Grilla Kong, we have an interaction height of 35.5 inches, but this is for the all-terrain cart. The standard cart might be a little bit different. And we're getting a lid weight of around 11.25 pounds. Here at the Blaze Kamado, using the Blaze Kamado cart that you can get online, we have an interaction height of the top grate at right around 44 inches, by far the tallest in our testing group today. So if you're a little on the shorter side, this may not be the one for you in this cart. This might be one that you want to potentially build into your outdoor kitchen at a height that's manageable for you. Just the Kamado height itself is 20.5 inches if you're thinking about building it into an outdoor kitchen. The lid weight on the Blaze Kamado is just a shade over 7 pounds. Here at the Primo, we have an interaction height of 32.5 inches from the patio to the top lip of the Kamado. And we're registering the lid weight at just a shade over 8.25 pounds. The Big Green Egg has an interaction height of 34.5 inches to the top of the edge of the ceramic, but let's note that the actual grate sits below by a good 4 inches. So the grate exists 4 inches below the top of the ceramic on this model. And for the weight of the lid, we have about 4.5 pounds, but it's important to note that we're never truly lifting the full weight of the lid as it hinges back instead of lifts the entire weight of the lid back. So I want to talk about mobility of all of these grills and talk about how movable they are to get around the deck or the patio. And the one that is least movable is the Everdure. So if you look at the Everdure has 4 legs. This does not have any casters at all to move. So this one, to move it around, you're gonna need some friends or neighbors or family to be able to move this one around. So this one, least movable of the bunch, but it's designed that way. Also of note, it's worth noting that you can separate this grill from the stand right here at this height, and this can stand on its own, but this lower section enables it to stand at this height. By far the most maneuverable out of the whole entire testing group is the Grilla Grills Kong. This all-terrain cart is an optional upgrade, but this thing moves incredibly well. So well, in fact, that we really recommend these wheel chocks around here to make sure that this doesn't move. It is a very, very movable cart, and we really, really like this one for moving around the patio and getting on and off the patio when needed. Here's the thing, there's so much information to try to cram into one video. Our first edit of this video was literally over an hour long because we're trying to cram so much valuable information into one single video. It's just too long for us. We tried to pare it down to what we think is the most valuable to you, sharing our real life experiences with each grill. Before I give my final thoughts on each grill, we've pulled together all of the information, stats, and facts for each grill and even included the Kamado Joe Classic 3 in an easy-to-read, downloadable chart to help you with your decision-making process. So if you think that resource might be helpful for you, there's a link down in the description where you can download it at no cost. However, if you finish this video and think, you know what, I could really use another 20 to 30 minutes of great content around Kamados, let us know down in the comments and we'll see if we can't piece together a part 2 where we show you what hit the cutting room floor. So I want to give you my final thoughts on each of these grills that we have here behind us, and I have notes that I've made on this phone that I think are going to be helpful, so let's go ahead and walk them through grill by grill. All right, first up is the Big Green Egg, and all I'm gonna say is it's not flashy anymore, but it gets the job done. I mean, there's some brands that have some improvements over the Egg. Now, I think it could use some innovation in a few areas to keep up with everyone else, but the options to accessorize with the Big Green Egg, there's all different types of things you can get for your Egg, really easy to accessorize, but I think some of the others have surpassed it from a technology standpoint in the last few years. Next up is the Grilla Kong, and I've just got to say, this is so much value for the money. If it were me and I was purchasing this, I would throw in the deflector plate to make sure that I could do low and slow cooking as well, but it's an incredible value at this price point. I personally love the all-terrain cart. I think it's incredibly easy to use, and if I was going to pick this up, I would go all-terrain cart all the way. If I were going to upgrade something on the Grilla Kong, the thing I would upgrade would be the grates themselves. They're on the thinner side of what we saw in all the Kamados here, which makes sense considering this is the most economical Kamado in the bunch. But I would love to see these grates get thicker and more prevalent in the design, and that's the one thing I would like to see change on the Grilla Kong. But for value for the money, this one is really, really super hard to beat in the category. All right, the Everdure. This is by far the attention getter whenever we have guests over to the lab. Everyone wants to know what this one's about. From the push button latch to the all metal exterior to having something that's actually electronic in a Kamado, which is pretty rare right now. Everyone wants to know what this is. So if you want to make a splash with your friends and family, this is the grill that I would go after. Now, the one thing I had a difficult time with was regulating the temperature inside the Kamado itself. And so I find that that's the thing that I would need to learn more about and how little charcoal you're going to use to keep this thing running. The other thing I found was that the display itself, if I close this Kamado up, the display itself is hard to read in direct sunlight, and so I had to keep shadowing it with my hand to be able to see it in direct sunlight. So that's something I'd love to see get brighter in the next model. For the Blaze aluminum Kamado, super impressed with this one. Really easy to control the temperatures is what I found. Now the grates just second to none. The fact that you have these that open up, that you can be able to stick briquettes, you can stick wood chunks down there, opens up on not just one side, but opens up on the other side as well. If you're planning on an outdoor kitchen build and you want a Kamado in it, I would look hard at this Kamado. The only thing that I would say is a drawback in this cart is how tall this thing sits. If you're like my wife and you're shorter in nature, this height here is going to be difficult for you to be able to work on. This is perfectly designed though for taller guys who are 6 foot and taller, or taller ladies as well. But the idea is we want to make sure that we understand that this is a tall lip to be able to work with, and that's the one drawback that I have for the Blaze aluminum Kamado. On the New Age Kamado, there's a lot to love about this Kamado, and the first thing that I love is just the shape and design. Where all the others have that curved top, this has the angular top that reminds us, it's reminiscent of Chinese cooking devices, especially this main grate. You have the flip up on the one side. This is the closest to the Blaze aluminum Kamado that I see on the grates, and I really like that for this. The other thing I like about the New Age itself is I really like the design of the cart and the side shelves. With the cart and side shelves, if I go ahead and take the ash tool off, they are incredibly easy to pop up and lock, and they're also really easy to be able to push these buttons and have it lock back down. The wheels were really easy to roll, and I've got to say that I really like this Kamado, but one of the things I worry about over time is how this wood will weather with all of the rain and all of the sun, the things that we have here in the Midwest. I worry about how this is going to weather, but that's something that we'll be able to test in the future and see how it does. But overall, really impressed with the New Age Kamado. It's one I would not hesitate to put on my patio. The Saffire Kamado, all I can say is stainless, stainless, stainless. From a stainless handle, to the stainless shelves on the side, to the charcoal and wood chip feeder that it has on the front. That's a great idea. I really like this from this grill. All the way down to the ash basket inside where you can shake your charcoal off to be able to get the dust off, knock that off. I love that basket, the fact that it's included with the purchase. I really like the Saffire design, but I think this is one for someone who's going, I'm going to leave this outside. I don't want to worry about it weathering. The stainless is going to stand up to almost anything you throw at it. I really do like the Saffire grill. For the Primo XL, what is not to love about a Kamado grill with this much space? It is hard to believe how much space the Primo XL actually has. When I think about ribs, you could easily lay down, I would say 4 sets of competition ribs here, but if you're putting them vertically, where you're putting them on their side in a rack, you could put what, 10, maybe even 12 racks of ribs on a Kamado? That's almost unheard of. This is an incredible size. I love that it comes with all of the diverters and the deflectors to be able to make sure that you can go hot and fast, low and slow, indirect and direct. You can fill half the firebox at one time. This is a cooker that you will love if you like to entertain. So from an entertainment standpoint, this one right here is one that you would not want to sleep on. If you like having people over and having one grill on your patio is what you want, Primo would be an excellent choice. People ask us all the time what grills are manufactured in the United States. And while all of these grills are manufactured somewhere, there's only one, and that's the Primo, that's manufactured in the United States. The Primo is headquartered in Illinois, and you can find these manufactured in Missouri. So if you're looking to go USA all the way, Primo is the horse you want to ride. Now, I only have space for 2 Kamados in my outdoor kitchen. We built in 2 Kamado drawers when we designed the outdoor kitchen, and I'm going to put 2 of these beauties back there in the outdoor kitchen. So the question I want you to answer is, which 2 would you put in the outdoor kitchen? Which 2 do you want me to put back there that you can see more content with? Let me know down in the comments below. If you're interested in all things Kamado, check out our playlist down below where you can find out all the Kamado goodness that we have here on the Barbecue Lab YouTube channel. Be sure to let us know which Kamado won for you in this shootout. Let us know down in the comments why and which one, as well as which 2 are the ones I should put in my outdoor kitchen. Thanks again to Rocketfire, Chef's Temp, Fogo Charcoal, Porter Road, and Bartlow's Barbecue for partnering with us on this video. If you'd like to find any of their products, make sure you check out the description down below where we put links where you can find each and every one of those products to help support us and their businesses as well. Thanks to you for watching. Smash like if you got value, and I will see you on the next one.